In this video, what we discuss is we will be learning about how do you restore the rule which you saved in the earlier, how do you restore the rule which you have already saved previously. Okay, so that can be done using history tab. So hope you have seen this check count of passengers. This is the validation which we used in the previous session, right, in the previous video, right? So this is what which I have already modified it. Okay, so now what the requirement said is whatever I have modified now is not useful now. The one which you created earlier is the right rule. Then do you know how did you create it? You may not, sometimes you may not create the previous rule which you have modified now. Okay, the same rule which you have modified now, that can be created by someone else and you modified, and the requirement says that there is no need of any modifications. You have to go back to the previous rule. So how do you do that? So how do you roll back the saving of your rule, whatever you have saved now? How do you roll back to the previous version or previous rule? Okay, so for that we have something called as history tab. So in the history tab, what Pega does is every time you save it, it will store it in a class. Okay, it will store it in a class, and there is a possibility for you to restore it based upon the date or based upon the time when you have saved it. So when you go to history tab, you can see view full history over here. Here you can see when it has been saved and when it has been checked in, right? So this is the place where it was checked in. So I want to open this. So this is what this was saved over here, right? The previous save was here. So let me open this. This previous save, it was like this. So if you see here, this is the rule which you have seen in the previous video, okay, in the length of page list video, right? But now if you see, I change it to something else. This is how you restore it. So once you create it, once you opened it, click on restore. So this will be coming back again, and the rule which you created, the latest rule which you created, which you have modified, not created, modified, will be removed, or it will be erased from your or it will be replaced by the restored rule. Okay, so that is one thing which I want to tell you. And the other one is, we have used length of page list as an example in the yesterday's validate function, in the yesterday's session validate function, right? Yes, so I just want to tell you about length of page list. That's the reason why we took that. But there is already a function which is available in your validate rule. Okay, so what is that function? Click on edit and see the function name over here. So this function also will return the length of the page list property. So use length of page list property in comparison of your operator value. So write length of whatever the property you need, that, and use whatever the comparison operator, whether it is greater than, equal to, or less than. Only three will be there over here. So those three things you have to you have to use one of those three. Okay, so as I want, my requirement is it should not be less than and it should not be greater than. That's the reason why I took here or and used two things. So to avoid this, in my previous example, I directly went with the length of the page list. So instead of writing two conditions, I just go with the one. Okay, but you can also use this function.